Whoa, sorry, you're not
Whoa.
Davey.
Hello, didn't see you there.
um, this is late night ramblings this week. It's gonna
It
be a
is.
fun one. It is. We called Maverick Cup Series. We had fun. Well, you didn't, but I did. Because you didn't call Maverick Cup Series, not like
Yeah.
pew pew
I
shot.
was I was
That wasn't
I
a
was eating
jab.
soup.
Yeah, that wasn't a jab. You know, but no Davey this week. So
Yeah, having Miata issues, so
his Miata's blue, right? It's like that metallic blue, I
I
think.
think so.
It looks really
Something like that.
good. I'm proud of
Yeah.
him for doing things that he
Um
wants to do.
I shaved for the first time in 2022, so
You
now I
did.
look like a girl with my super long hair. So,
I need to get a haircut. Look at this.
dude, yeah, this has got to go soon. It's getting so long. I noticed it was bad when I was BMX racing on Saturday and I saw my shadow, and it's just like usually you can see the outline of your neck under your helmet, and it was just smooth to my shoulders, and I was like, yeah, I gotta cut that off. So
It's fair. It's fair. Bristol today, so I took him outside before, right? Because producing is a very stressful job, so we got to make sure our stomach is empty and stuff,
yeah,
and our intestine, all that. So I took him outside, and then I went to the mailbox. And as we're sitting at the mailbox, I'm taking the mail out. A car comes by, really, really fast, and it rained all day. Splashes Bristol with a puddle. He
oh
was
my
so sad.
god.
He didn't know what happened. Like it was.
Oh my god.
So to that person, I know you're not watching this, but I hope you like your tire goes flat or something. Like you deserve that. You made my dog scared of cars and sad. Like I mean like this dude his whole face was wet, like Bristol his whole face and his whole chest, and I felt so bad.
Oh my gosh.
And he's over here
Did you have to like dry him off or anything or what?
So no, cuz he doesn't like towels. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I'm probably embellishing it a little bit, but it was very traumatic for Bristol.
Yeah.
That parking lot water just sprayed up, and then he just like looked at the puddle. Like, I just felt so bad for him.
Oh my god.
Um,
Have I done anything interesting this week?
I got
I
a
went to
bunch. Yeah,
I was gonna say I went BMX racing and I had to race people 10 years older than me and a class above me for like the fourth straight time.
yeah, but you were
So
sponsored by JTN, so
true, I did put JTN as my sponsor. I should have taken a picture of it, but on the sheet it said like
you
Matthew
did.
Steelman, 26 intermediate, JTN.
You did
So
take a picture of it.
no, I mean take a pic. They
Oh, of
will
the sheet of
when
like the
they
lineup
yeah
card.
like the lineup sheet, and it said like everybody who was in my moto and everything. But yeah, this is like the fourth time in a row I've had to race like 39 experts who just absolutely smoked me. So I'm just gonna complain about it next time and be like, dude, there's 38 intermediates and there's like 26 experts. Why are we instead of combining the age groups? Why are we crossing them? So I have to go way up and race people of half of my life older than me and also a class above me, so I don't even finish on the same straightaway. So it was bad. And my grandparents were out there. They came and watched me race
No,
BMX for the first time in 12 years and saw me get my ass absolutely kicked. You might have to believe that.
nah, I don't care. It's
All
throwback.
right.
We can use bad language or something.
True.
Not like
Davey's not even
bad
here to
language.
take advantage of it.
Exactly, that's the point. But yes, this is the Fake Racers podcast. As always, I'm Joe. Well, not always. I guess save for like I think 2 or 3 episodes. But I'm Joe,
I'm Matthew.
and
Weird.
Matthew's over there now. Or he's
Yeah, it's
over
weird
there.
being on equal footing for this podcast and not literally holding this show up, metaphorically and literally. So
We haven't tried this dynamic before outside of like some BS little like talky sessions after
Yeah.
the podcast. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully you guys enjoy this week. Fair warning. I listened to the race, the Cup Series race, and watched and kind of like in between because I was out and about doing things, and other people's lives are more important than mine. So I was like, doing things for other people. So that's always fun. And Matthew was, working. So
yeah, and I'm pretty sure Davey was at work too. So
yeah,
like nobody on this podcast actually got to sit down and watch the race entirety.
I saw like the
So
first good 150 laps, and then I listened to it, and then I saw like the last 30 laps. So, it's going to be a fun episode talking about the Cup Series this week, but good thing there's a lot of racing this upcoming weekend, and there was also some other racing on Sunday. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Let's start with the Xfinity Series, because one of your guys won.
Yeah.
But let's even go before that, because there was some beef a brewing. I don't know if you saw it between Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs, but something had to happen. Ty got around Noah, and then Noah just drove over him for like a
lap. It's one of those situations where the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And in which this case, I'm like, all right, Noah, we can let bygones be bygones as long as you just punk on Ty Gibbs. You're cool for a little bit.
Ty Gibbs didn't do anything stupid this week. I had a video that I wanted to do, because I'm working on these little like breakdowns, like John Boy-esque style, because that dude is awesome. So
Yeah.
But did one for about like Ross and Talladega and the whole, splitting the field by blocking it as he's going a lap down. So that's cool. But I wanted to do one about Ty Gibbs at Talladega because we brought him up, where he wrecks the 11 as he's getting pushed by the 38 because he's flipping off the 38. So I saved that clip and I'm working on that. So stay tuned, maybe later this week, because that was the best thing ever. And
that is peak Ty Gibbs.
So maybe there'll be a little 2-minute breakdown of that. That'll be fun. I don't know what to call those. So leave your name suggestions down below, because you can't call it like teardown, because there's already like Gluck and I think Jordan Bianchi have a podcast called that, and I don't want to something down, the down force, the force down. That doesn't sound good. Anyways,
no.
There was also some inter-squad beef between Josh Berry and Justin Allgaier on restarts. Allgaier, again, Matthew being put between a rock and a hard place here.
Literally the only two Xfinity Series drivers I own shirts for. So
Allgaier was not happy with Josh Berry. Just the way he restarted with him, crowding him or kind of coming up the track into him and stuff. And those two cars were really even throughout the race, and it really felt like as we got down to the end of it, it was whoever managed to get into the clean air, which, the guy that won got into the clean air and kind of held that second gap. But we've seen this with Allgaier before, right? We saw obviously like the beef with Noah Gragson during
Sam
the COVID
Mayer
year
last year at Bristol too.
And I know a lot of times we kind of put that on those younger guys, but now in this case we got Josh Berry, who has been around the block, is a little bit closer to Allgaier as a peer rather than maybe a mentee or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, thoughts on that? Justin Allgaier maybe getting angry that he was getting raced hard. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I know that's the way a lot of people would probably spin it.
It's a tough situation. It's one of those situations where, JRM's had a ton of bad luck this year, like Allgaier and Berry specifically. And so some of that's probably, like Allgaier mentioned in his post-race interview, like, hey, our luck's finally turning around because they ran really well today. But it's also one of those situations where it's also too much of a good thing. Like we saw with Larson and Chase Elliott a few times where, you want all your cars to run good, but then if they all run well, then they have to race each other. And sometimes this is going to happen. So I'm sure, they're both in their 30s. They're both mature drivers. So if there is a beef, they'll probably iron it out. But, if you're Dale Jr., it's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have your cars all running good. Sam Mayer won stage 1, had the wheel come off because they didn't get 5 lugs. We'll talk about wheels here in a second, but and Noah's been good all year. I think Noah won Dash for Cash, so that's obviously Noah's pretty good about when he wins that, giving it back to the team, so that's awesome. And
good runs for that Berry, Allgaier, and Mayer all needed, because their seasons have been very hit or miss. So.
I guess I never miss, huh? Josh Berry, though, of course, winning.
Yep.
This is the point in the show where Davey would accuse me of having low energy, and this is just me like getting to talk in a normal voice for once.
Yeah, we're just vibing.
We're just vamping,
It's just the vibes are immaculate.
What was your favorite joke that we made at your expense last week?
I'm gonna be honest. I actually haven't listened to the show yet.
Well,
it's the only one that I listen to them every week, and it's the only one I haven't listened to yet. And so I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it.
That's okay.
So I will report back next week, though.
We'll see if Davey listens to this or if he just doesn't make the Twitter post this week. There's another Davey joke. So yeah,
What I was going to say though is part of me wants to be like, oh my god, imagine if like it's just proof that Josh Berry should have had this full time ride like 8 years ago. But at the same time, would Josh Berry be as good as he is if he didn't have extra years of late model experience under his belt? So it's just cool to see him win.
and the
I'm a big fan of the guy.
opportunities Josh Berry had too, 8 years ago did not go
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
I think probably the latter rather than the former.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can look back on the fact that he's just now breaking into NASCAR. And how old is Josh? He's like 33, I think.
32, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And so part of it's like, oh man, what could have been? But at the same time, he's a late model national champion. He's won the late model Martinsville race or whatever. And like, he's in, oh my God, I keep hitting my microphone. He's in the prime of his career and he's got the best ride he's ever had. So like,
Pretty
I'm
much
sure
fully
he wouldn't
funded ride too. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty big.
I'm sure he wouldn't trade away, hundreds of late model trophies he probably has for, oh man, I got to run like 2 seasons for Junior Motorsports. And it's like, oh, well, he's got both now. So I'm just happy to have him around.
I mean, third Xfinity win, right? Obviously won Martinsville last year. That was the big breakthrough. Won Vegas filling in for Annette. Should have won Michigan filling in for Annette. And
should have won Nashville as well. Ran really well in that race. So
he was in the 31 car for that race, though, wasn't he?
No, his last race in the 8 car was Nashville Fairgrounds. Yeah, and he like dominated that race.
You mean Super Speedway?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, just a diamond in the rough, I guess. So.
Also, another point that was made during the broadcast: the last, like every time someone wins at Dover, they make the Final Four. So. Pretty up look for Josh Berry. Yeah, that's words. We move on to Sunday/Monday because we ran about 78 laps on Sunday, I think it was. First off, did you get your clout from tweeting that we should start at noon/1 o'clock? Did you make sure to get that?
No, because it's a dead horse. Here's my take on it. I understand why NASCAR does the later start times. I get it. You have that lucrative market, and they are willing to make the argument that we'll take the 1 or 2 rainouts, in benefit. But it's like, or not, but if you're willing to take, that loss of viewership, why are you not willing to take it on a track like Dover, which doesn't have lights, and so you're going to have to push it back if it rains? Like, make an exception for Dover, because it's it's a track you can't put lights up at for circumstances out of your control. Push it forward 3 hours.
Is Dover one of those tracks they can't do that?
Yeah, I think they're near like an Air Force base or something, and so they can't put lights up. But
and why haven't Vegas and Daytona put lights up?
I might be wrong on that, but there's something about the area that Dover's built that basically is in the ordinance. They can't put lights on it. They can't run stuff at night.
Yeah, because I know New Hampshire's like that, but that's like agreement between the city and the track, and got to uphold that, or else the track loses rights to land or something.
Yeah. So it's a situation like that. So it's like, okay, we know that. So if there's any sort of delay at all for weather, we're going to push it to Monday. So just every other race, if you want to go after that primetime market, sure. But Dover, push forward. I feel like that's all you got to do.
Yeah.
So.
Obviously it's a very calculated move, right? I think that's NASCAR, and people don't give them credit enough for making these calculated moves around when things were at their worst. You lose Dale Jr., you lose Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, Jeff Gordon, you're losing all these big names.
I like that you listed Casey Kane before Jeff Gordon.
Well, Jeff was still in the booth, and I guess Dale was too, but
we lost Casey Mears. Jeff Gordon.
It's about their importance to me, not everyone else. No, but you lose a lot of big name drivers, right? And that obviously probably gives you a hit in viewership. You lost Jimmy Johnson a couple of years ago now. That's another big name that you lose out on, and they've this is what they think they've been told and what they think they have to do, and even if it is or it isn't, that doesn't matter. It's what they're doing. The whole debate about the 1 o'clock, noon, whatever, as someone that lives on the West Coast, can you appreciate that the races aren't at, what would they be at, like 10,
9,
9, 10 o'clock local
9 or
time?
10 a.m. Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
appreciate that on a week, like on a weekly basis?
Yeah, because it was a very common thing when I was growing up where I would miss like the first hour or so of a race just because it was in the morning and I'm
Hmm.
not getting out of bed super early on Saturday as a
Exactly.
or on Sunday as a 14-year-old. So it's a mixed bag because part of me does like that, like, oh, wake up, all the races on, but at the same time, like it's also cool to just have it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff throughout the day. So
And you can make this same argument. We'll talk about F1 later, but F1's American viewership, has it gone up because of the European start times being pushed back? Has it gone up because of drivers are like they're these when they make these decisions about start times and where they go and how they go and what time of year they go? They're very calculated, and there's a lot of reasons and inputs into that rather than just, oh well, yeah, West Coast fans, that's why we're doing it.
yeah,
Sure, that can be the primary reason. It probably is. It makes sense that it is, right? You got the LA market, you got Phoenix, who has put a lot of money into the sport now. You got that big market. You got, just your West Coast, right? So,
yeah,
you're welcome, San Francisco. But you got a lot of big markets out there that you don't want to lose out on, and NASCAR, I think rightfully so, has tried to invest in those markets because they're younger. You need a younger fan base. It is what it is.
yeah,
The other thing was people were angry because pre-race was back to normal. I beat on this drum for 2 weeks now that it was going to go back to normal. Don't expect the norm to be at track shows. Told you that. Look at, I was right. The next one will probably be the Coke 600 because it's on Fox, and it would make sense because it's a big event. And they're building it as a big event. If you've noticed Fox's promo packages, they've been running Coke 600 promos now for a couple weeks.
yeah.
And they've only run Darlington promos for about a week. So, and they're not running any for Kansas or not even, I don't even think they've run any for the All-Star race yet. So,
Yeah, it's one of those frustrating things where if you have a good pre-race program, like people want to see more of it. Because like right now, I have no incentive to watch pre-race.
yeah.
I didn't even really watch it that much back when it was on Speed Channel. Sometimes I would, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I have to watch it. But I can definitely appreciate it more in retrospect. I think it's just more frustrating that it's like the Larry Mack thing, where you have this great thing on the sidelines, you should just do it every week. But I know there's logistical problems on it, so I think that's where the frustration comes from.
And the biggest thing is, like, back in the day, for Fox's pre-race, right, you had the Hollywood Hotel,
Yeah,
right, which was this really cool thing, and Fox has gone with a lot of their programming to kind of stripping costs in favor of trying to gain more programming. So that's why, like with Race Day, they're out of the Charlotte studio. Same with Race Hub, and they're out of the studio for everything. And they've built this really cool, really amazing studio with all the green screens and all the VR and AR and whatever technology it's called. But um, what the if you're if you want to make the argument that the content is where the content is, if the content's good, it doesn't matter where they do the show. But the people saying, oh, they have to do the show at the racetrack, I think are missing the point.
yeah,
Of when they do the show at the racetrack, it's to show that it's an important event. The Daytona 500 pre-race has been at the racetrack for a couple of years now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like Coke 600 pre-race, I would bet will be at the racetrack. Especially because it's close enough, right? They don't have to drive all their personalities out too far. It's Charlotte, Concord, 40-minute drive, not that far. Yeah, but I like at track pre-race too, but I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Well, Fox, you suck," because you're trying to cut costs so you can give people more programming.
yeah. I mean, a perfect metaphor that just popped into my head is in movies, which is like practical effects versus CG, and it's like CG is so versatile, but if you're like me and I'm a big fan of practical effects, I don't really care. So I'm not really going to watch the Avengers because it's basically just an animated movie. But at the same time, 1917 is awesome and it's this giant spectacle, and I wish everything could be like 1917. But that's really expensive and difficult to do. So
Oh,
it's
look at
easier for me to just not watch the thing that I dislike. So
And it also goes back to the whole oversaturation, undersaturation, and for a
yeah,
lot of years you had an oversaturation of pre-race content, so naturally it got worse because they wanted more, and now they don't need as much, but they're still bad because they got in the
yeah,
habit of bad. So, is what it is.
yeah.
Dover has been talked about as the last big test of equipment. Saw a lot of spins Saturday in practice. A lot of drivers kind of finding that edge, which is, I've been told that's what everyone wants to see, drivers having to drive race cars. So there you go. Next gen car, you got to drive it. Stop complaining about it. Not that I don't think there are a lot of people complaining about next gen anymore now, 11 races in, but
No.
there they are. The wheels.
The wheel.
Denny Hamlin loses one coming off pit lane because they don't get it tight. It sounds like the nut fell out of the gun, which it shouldn't happen because the gun is magnetized.
Yeah.
So that's probably an equipment failure. And then I didn't catch what happened, but I know Allmendinger lost a tire on track under green, and that brought out the caution that kind of screwed over Alex Bowman and Kyle Busch. But
Yeah.
do you have any arguments to make about, hey, just go back to 5 lugs, or have I done a good job of kind of telling you, hey, don't make that argument, stupid?
I mean, I'm not gonna like NASCAR is the only major motorsport that still persisted with 5 lugs. You know, IndyCar and F1 very rarely have wheel nut issues. It's just you're taking 60 or 70 years of tradition and telling these guys, all right, now just relearn everything. Basically, there's going to be teething issues. If there's an issue with the guns, I'm sure they'll work it out. It's just like when we had issues with the toe links earlier this season. Those problems seem to have not disappeared, but they've
They
teams
figured out ways to,
they figured out ways to make them stronger, and teams have figured out ways to fix them on the fly. So they're going to figure it out. The thing I do really enjoy about it is I won't say I enjoy that it's a 4-week suspension. Like, that's super harsh, but at the same time, it's kind of warranted. But it's really funny to watch the body language of Denny Hamlin's tire carrier, knowing that he's like, well, I'm about to not be at the track for a month. Like, afterwards, like, even though he's wearing the whole face shield, you can literally read his body language of like, yep, we messed up.
Funny thing. So the way that, because Gibbs does that different choreography. Thank you. Going around the car where the first guy over goes to the rear tire on the right, and then they come back around. So the guy that does the rear on the right does the front on the left.
Yeah.
But he's still listed as the rear tire changer. Even though he did the left front tire, he's not the one that got suspended, because they suspended the front tire changer, who was the guy that got the tire on, because that's what's listed internally on the sheet.
That's
and then, of
weird.
course, the jackman and the crew chief. That rule's a little archaic,
Yeah.
because it works in the Xfinity series, maybe, where, there is the whole, if you don't, I'm not going to tighten all the lugs because it gives me an advantage. Haha.
Yeah.
I'm only going to get 4. I'll take $10,000 if it means I win the race. Or the rule was because they were, going, we're only going to tighten 3 lugs because it's quicker, because you're not going to check it anymore, NASCAR, silly billies. And then Tony Stewart was like, wait a minute.
That was the most idiotic controversy, because then the team started complaining about it, and it's like, my brother in Christ, you're the one who's only putting 4 lug nuts on every time.
Right, but that's the prisoner's dilemma, right?
Yeah.
That's all it was.
It was literally the meme of the guy riding the bike, and then he sticks the stick in the front spokes of, and then he's like, why did NASCAR remove all of our lug nuts?
Yeah, so it's like, it's prisoner's dilemma. So it's like, we'll like, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell on the other person, I'll get less of a sentence. He can tell on me, and he gets less of a sentence. We both tell on each other, and we get the same sentence. Neither of us tell, and we get the same sentence. So there's 2 situations. There's one situation where it works out the best, right?
Yeah.
Or no, the worst. The worst situation, of course, is where you both get full time. But there's 2 scenarios where you can have that, and there's 2 scenarios where you wouldn't. I'm probably forgetting this. I took this psych class or philosophy class a while ago.
You might have butchered this analogy. But
I did.
I get it.
No, I did it in econ class is what I did it in. But yeah, pretty much if everyone else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. Like, people always say, if your friends jumped off a bridge, would you? Well, if they're going to get $1 million for jumping off the bridge, I think I would.
Yeah, I mean, if there's water under it, then it'll probably be pretty sick.
We here at JTN do not condone you to jump off bridges. But if you got a bungee cord and you do it in a safe manner, and you're, with a trained professional, that'd be pretty sick.
No, man, I watched the Nitro Circus growing up. It's pretty cool.
So yeah, the wheel argument, Wheels are gonna come off. There's also I listened to the XM radio, of course, too, and people were like, "Oh, the drivers can't feel it." Christopher Bell had one loose, and he came down pit lane and ended up rallying back to a top 5. So, and I hate Christopher Bell.
The drivers can't feel it. Guy who's never driven a car with single lug wheel nuts before.
So, yeah, Hendrick and Gibbs did well. Obviously, Chase Elliott winning. Gibbs cars, Kyle Busch was really good. Truex, Bell were all up in the top 10. Hamlin won stage 1, and then Cody Ware happened. We're not going to talk about that too much because it's just funny, and I think that's probably been beaten to death. But
just like the right side door, Denny Hamlin's car. Ayo. Yeah.
Penske bad.
Yeah. I saw what's happened. Did something happen to Logano, or was he just slow?
He was slow, and then he hit the wall.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Cindric spun. Blaney just yeeted Todd Gilliland at one point, which, I mean, the fact that he was behind Todd Gilliland says enough.
And then he won stage 2, and then he went back to like 26.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good day for Penske. Should probably talk about Truex, though, since you mentioned it.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go there first. So Chastain and Truex late in the race. I guess Truex didn't get that top 10. Never mind. But he was running top 5.
Jones got a top, or Bowman got a top 5, and Jones got a top 10 because of that. So, two happy boys here.
Thank you, Ross Chastain. I hated you last week, but this week, thanks for the top 10. I appreciate it. Yeah. Chastain, and he took blame for this, and I don't know why he did. He was making his car wide late in the race because Truex was better, and Truex got angry, and Truex quite literally bumper grabbed.
Yeah, I would, if we're just judging the on-track incident, I would put that on Chastain because Truex is there, and he just kind of kept coming up. I think Truex kind of overcorrected.
Yeah,
but car high. So
in that situation, if you're Truex, you just keep your foot in it. Let him put himself in the wall. If he puts you in the wall too, I mean, either way, you're wrecking.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I don't want Ross to get any less aggressive because he's running good. Because he's gotten here because he's gotten to this point because he is aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people are talking about Dega and, he didn't do anything. That's not Ross Chastain. He did a very big thing. Again, check out the breakdown of it. Here's a plug. But he did a very aggressive thing blocking the field.
Yeah.
To be the lucky dog car. Or free pass car or whatever. I don't want to see guys get less aggressive.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't just start being a pushover. I think I don't
think he will. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's Ross Chastain. Him being a little less aggressive isn't like gonna be awful, but
yeah, it's more of like tempering that aggression and kind of, I guess, controlling it more is a better way to describe it. So, but still, I mean, the fact that Ross Chastain is battling Truex for top 5s is kind of insane on and of itself.
Ross Chastain, I think, would be second in the playoffs. Points based on wins and stage wins. Like, it's pretty cool.
One of two-time winners this season, which is ridiculous.
And those two drivers are Ross Chastain and William Byron. Like,
yeah.
If you told me the two Ford winners would be Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe, as someone that likes both of those drivers to a degree, wow. Anyways, yeah. So. It's unfortunate circumstance. I get why Truex is angry. I also, don't want Ross to like cower. He's racing around these guys for the first time in his career in competitive equipment, like, consistently. Because obviously he had the flashes in the pan last year with Ganassi, think of Darlington, Nashville. But yeah. Stenhouse gets a second place, so JTG finally gets that monkey off their back of not being able to do anything good. They're gonna need a win. But
they've had a lot of speed this year, but they just keep finding ways to screw it up, unfortunately.
So hopefully that's a sign of things turning around, because, again, Stenhouse is a free agent at the end of this year, and, talked about it last year, how he was probably one of the hotter free agents, and that's probably kind of cooled down. Obviously, Stuart Haas is going to have one seat open, potentially two, because I don't think anyone really knows Kevin Harvick anymore. Busher qualified pole. We didn't talk about it, but pole for RFK. His first pole with Keselowski in the name. First pole since 2013 for RFK.
Has it really been that long?
I think so.
God.
At least
first
on
pole
a
in
normal
Busher's
track.
entire NASCAR career too.
So pretty sick. He finishes 8th, and Eric Jones with second straight top 10. Get you some of that going into one of his best racetracks, a track where he never finished outside the top 10 until last year. Yeah, suck it.
Also, Chase Elliott won. I feel like we should mention that.
That was the last thing. Chase Elliott won.
Yeah.
Congrats to Chase for winning on an oval for the first time since 2020.
Since the first time since Kyle Larson came back. So I
no.
was trying to think of a driver, like a mildly crap driver who debuted in 2020. But I was gonna say since Anthony Alfredo, or like Chase Elliott has won an oval for the first time since Anthony Alfredo came to Cup, but he's not in Cup anymore.
Chase Briscoe came to Cup.
Yeah, but I mean Briscoe's good, so.
No, yeah,
I had a good joke idea. So the first time Chase Elliott's won an oval since Cole Custer's. No, wait, no.
You're really beating this one to death. Just stop. All right. Anyways, obviously Chase, like, without the win, it was hard to say Chase was the best driver at Hendrick, just because Byron has 2, and Byron had a lot of bad luck to start the year.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Byron's been the best guy at Hendrick this year, but Chase now with a win, if he keeps up the momentum, because a lot of those points that he's gotten have been stage points, and again, that's the game you play, and that's the system we're under. But results matter when you talk about the best driver and the best team. So Chase obviously I think makes that. Hendrick's just really good across the board this year. Like this year, they feels like across the board they're more even. Last year, it really felt like it was Larson, 1A, and then Chase and Bowman. 2A, 2B, William Byron, 3.
See, I'd even put last year. I would have even put Byron ahead of Bowman because Byron would run like top 5, and Bowman would just kind of hang out around 12th, and then.
But Bowman could close the deal.
Yeah,
I feel like closing the deal has to matter.
Yeah, this season though, it looks like all 4 cars consistently have that top.
It's
10
1A, B, C, D. Yeah.
Yeah. You never know which one of those 4 is going to be the best at every race.
Thanks, Rick Hendrick. So yeah, that was NASCAR. We are 30 minutes into the show. That's awesome. It's a great time to remind you can head on over to the JTM merch store. Spring is here. Spring has sprung. Get yourself a t-shirt. Maybe you get yourself a coffee mug because you need a nice cup of joe in the morning. Maybe you get yourself some stickers for your laptop or your
where is my
or your Surface tablet or your. That's a random plug. I don't know why I'd say that. It's
buried in that drawer.
That's okay. That's okay. But got a lot of great options over there on the JTN merch store. Would appreciate it if you checked them out and gave them a looky-loo. Also, Ryan Pace posted an awesome video today. I don't know if you saw it. I love Ryan, man. He's my dog. He's my dude. That's my dog. Ryan's my dude. But
Ryan's funny.
I'm so glad he races over at USRL now and kind of.
Davey's only been teasing that for 3 seasons, and then he finally started showing up here. So.
Two races. He's won.
Yeah.
I would like to raise I'm gonna raise a challenge. Can I raise a challenge? Can I raise a friendly challenge to our friends over at Fast 29?
Okay.
Let's where's all this bias against Ryan Pace coming from?
Are they biased against him?
I don't know. It's just anytime he's involved in a wreck, they go, up and Ryan's involved. It's like, brother, what?
It's like how James Hunt, when he used to do F1 commentary, would just pick out like certain drivers he didn't like and just talk crap about them constantly.
Like as someone that has been accused of doing that thing, I don't want to accuse someone else of doing it if they don't knowingly want to do it. So it's a friendly. That's why I did a little fist bump. So yeah. Chris and Dan, if you're out there, love your coverage, love what you're doing, but be nice to my boy. You can be mean to Davey, you can be mean to Tommy Weaver. I don't, they can handle it, and Ryan can handle it too because he has. But we don't appreciate Ryan Pace slander is the one we don't appreciate because we don't spew Ryan Pace slander in this household.
I need to do one of their Cup broadcasts or one of your guys' Cup broadcasts,
do one of ours.
and just
you're our employee.
And just talk smack about Davey the whole time. And just like anytime he does anything, like he's breaking one of those unwritten rules of sim racing. Unbelievable.
I was so frustrated because not like frustrated, like actually angry, but I was like, man, Matthew really did a Fast 29 broadcast before he did a JTN broadcast. What's up with this?
Man, Saturdays are for the boys, all right?
No, but Dan and Chris, I don't think you guys watch or listen to this, but good job. We appreciate it. Check out Fast 29. He's doing a good job of getting stuff.
Chris's presentation is so good too. I haven't watched many of his broadcasts, unfortunately, but I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I like a lot of the things he does. We're working.
Yeah.
We're seeing him work. He's improving.
Obviously, I'm not saying yours is bad, but I was just
yes,
like, oh my
you
god.
are. Obviously, if you're saying his is good, mine is bad. No, I get what you're saying. No, he's done a really good job, and it's been really cool to see him get that. I wish he got more views and stuff, and more people would check it out. Yeah. Good job, Chris.
Is a cool dude.
Good job,
the dad
Dan.
of the USORL.
Who else goes over there? I know you did one. Who else is? I know Cal was on because he crashed out this past week, but it was. They let Cal drive the truck for a couple weeks, and then he came back racing, and it just didn't work out. I don't know what to tell you.
Cal's washed, unfortunately. Can only say that because he's my teammate. So.
But shout out Fast 29. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you. But stop the Ryan Pace slander.
Keep up the Ryan Pace slander.
Matthew? Speaking of slander, maybe some of these things that we're going to talk about are a little slanderous. Barber Motorsports Park, we didn't even talk about it last week on the show because I completely forgot IndyCar existed because promotion.
Blue.
Listen, I understand what everyone's saying, but get over it. Like, uniformity is good.
Yeah.
Not having thumbnails though is bad.
Yeah.
But haha, IndyCar F1.
We need more like IndyCar clickbait ones that it's like pictures of like Roman Grosjean and he's like on the thumbnail. So.
Anyways, Grosjean. Speaking of, he did a little vroom 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 into the side of Ray Hall, coming off a corner.
Little argy bargy.
And was mad at Ray Hall for some reason.
To be fair, I think like 90% of the paddock's mad at Graham Ray Hall at any moment. So.
But it sounds like, and Ray Hall said this, so we'll. I don't really like Buckeyes in the first place, so whatever. But man, when I see him in that stupid Ohio State driver helmet, I just something inside me goes, oh man, I hope his car doesn't start. But
I need to make a compilation of just Joe hating Ohio on this show.
It'd be pretty long, I think.
It'd probably be a full-length episode.
I hope so. I'm doing my job as a Michigander. Yeah. Go blue, baby. Woo.
Meanwhile, everybody's like, California sucks, and we're over here like, I know, right?
LOL. It's pretty scundo.
Yeah.
I don't think I used that right, did I?
No, it's good. No, not at all.
That's good.
It's not very cash money, but
Damn. I like that one. But Grosjean's reputation over in Europe seems like it's starting to get over here about being really aggressive, really hard racing, and hey buddy, be nice. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Pato versus VK throughout the race. Pato Award gets his first win of the season, first non-Penske win of the year as well. It's race 4. But the interesting part has been Pato and his contract talks kind of coming into the broadcast and coming more into the media now. The rumor is Rossi's going to be over at Arrow McLaren next year. Rossi, I think, is a driver that really needs a change of scenery. It seems like finally had a good run this weekend. But Pato wants more money because I think his contract's locked through like 24, 25. So, do you have any input on this, or do you am I just kind of talking to the wall right now, which is okay?
I don't know. I'm not the biggest contract expert, but I mean, Pato Award's like I'm not gonna say a generational talent, but
he's good.
I was at his IndyCar debut at Sonoma in 2018, and I was like, holy crap, this dude's good. So yeah, if you can afford it, McLaren, pay the guy. So because he might win you a championship.
And we know you can afford it.
Yeah, and if he's not going to F1, then fork out that money. So,
so that is
very
something.
good.
So IndyCar silly season is always really fun to watch because it just randomly starts developing at different points throughout the year. It's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like the Rossi stuff was just kind of like put in. Jenna Fryer kind of just slipped it into one of her articles, like really nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Even if it was well known in the paddock, but yeah, it's always fun. Speaking of paddocks that have sounded like they're fun, this one doesn't because a lot of media members already complained about credentials and stupid stuff because it's F1. But F1's in Miami this weekend on Mother's Day weekend at 3:30, the same time as the Cup Series race from Darlington. Good job, whoever. Actually, I know why they did that because they did that last year. Anyways, I'm talking at a wall. High prices are very high. You go ahead and talk about what you want here. We got fake marina.
Yeah, I will say about the prices for F1. It's like on one hand I get it. F1's always been expensive, but it's kind of hard to leverage that. Like, oh my god, it's an event when we're gonna have 3 U.S. Grand Prix next year. And it's also like a conflicting thing where you have this, like, for the first time ever, F1 is huge in America. Like, this is literally the biggest F1's ever been in America, mostly because of Drive to Survive. And then you price out the vast majority of the general public. And it kind of becomes like an influencer event at that point, where it's like you don't really want race fans, you want celebrities, which it's like you can have both. You can afford to build more bleachers, probably. So I don't know. It's just annoying. You have people who live in Florida who have wanted an F1 race their whole life, and they literally can't go to it. So, because they spent all their money on a fake marina. Hey, how about that transition? For anybody who's been watching the development of the track, it's in Miami, so they wanted to have that kind of like beachside yacht look,
and Hard
like
Rock
Monaco.
Stadium is very far from the beach.
Yeah, but it's very landlocked. And so on the inside of one of the corners, they said they were going to build a marina with yachts in it. And it was like, how are you going to get them in there if there's no water? And they're like, oh, we're going to lift the cranes in there. And it's like, okay, so they're going to build like a little lake, and then they're just going to dock all these boats. No, they put a bunch of boats on platforms and then covered the entire thing with a surface that looks like water, but it's completely dry. You could have built bleachers. Or a suite or something. It saved a lot of money.
Yeah, it's the fact that you probably would have made the same amount of money too off tickets without spending so much, right? Like,
yeah, like what's the point of bringing boats in if they're not on the water? They're just sitting on a plinth in a parking lot.
Hey man, Monaco has fake water, right?
Yeah, Mediterranean. They filled it in for that. They literally build a seating arrangement that's the equivalent of like sitting in your friend's boat while it's in their driveway.
Don't knock it till you try it, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not saying it's a bad experience, but it's not the same.
You have a couple good coolers in there, man. You can have a fun time. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Like, man, they're like, how many of you guys had to drink? I'm like, we're in international waters, man. You can't touch us. As the cop walks to the side of your boat.
Yeah, these are F1 waters, baby.
Yeah. One of my favorite edits I've seen is, have you ever seen that video of the guy trying to jump into the frozen pool? It's like they edited him into jumping into the fake marina. Oh my god. It's so ridiculous. It's just like a perfect example that like the people who run F1 have way too much money. It's hilarious.
It's always been that way. I saw people saying like, oh, F1's all of a sudden about the money. No.
It's always been like that.
There's a reason why like I don't like F1 like I do NASCAR or even IndyCar, because when you don't come from a lot of money, it's hard to be like, oh, cool, that's really cool that these people have a lot of money and they race car.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, F1 literally started as like a bunch of like rich noblemen when like, do you all fancy a race? Let's go. So
I don't know what that accent was supposed to be, but please
I don't
never
know
do it
either.
again. But yeah, it seems like it's a good course, right? I mean, course
Yeah.
seems pretty cool. You're going around the stadium. Too bad you're not going into the stadium, because then you could sell a lot of seats.
Yeah.
Can you imagine they go through the tunnels? Remember that
Oh my
Fox
God.
promo during the Super Bowl a few years ago? They do that.
Yeah.
It's like just a big curve through the stadium. But I think it'll be good. I
Yeah.
mean, it sucks that it's going to be the same time as Cup at Darlington, because I will definitely watch that over F1. It's just, again, just said why. Um, but like you said, it sucks that this is a lot of people's first and could be, only for some opportunity to go to one of these races, and they're completely priced out of it. Saw people saying, "Oh, $400, what is it, like 600, 400 something dollars?" It's a lot. It's a lot of money for one ticket.
And that's just like general admission too.
No seat, no. Which, when you go to a road course, general admission isn't bad, because then you get to kind of move around and the track's big, and like I've kind of liked that. Like when I've gone to Belle Isle or went to Indy this last year, being able to walk around was kind of cool. Then we sat in. Not the point. It's just the point that it's so much. I'm someone that scoffs at ticket prices being like $60, so I'm gonna scoff at $600.
Yeah.
I'll probably die if someone told me, "Hey, here, Indy 500 ticket, $600." I'd be like, "What?" I mean, I like
like,
it.
dog, it's literally on TV. Like, what are you talking about?
I like going to Indy 500. It's cool, but like,
Yeah.
whoa. But yeah. It sucks that it's so expensive, and building fake water seems really dumb. What makes this weekend a success, though, as someone that feels and does know a lot about F1 as a sport, as a motorsport, what makes this weekend a success? Is it just ratings? Is it good turnout? Is it good race? Like,
I think it's a combo of a good race and a good turnout, because like a perfect example of a race that had a good turnout but was terrible was the Russian Grand Prix, because Sochi was just a terrible circuit and all of the races were completely processional. So if this track puts on a good race, like, Americans are going to come in droves, especially because they're making such a big push for America, and like, I think one of the biggest kind of like hurdles for F1 for a long time was F1 had no online presence. And so for somebody like me who grew up, I didn't even know the difference between F1 and IndyCar. Like, I've just thought they were the same thing. And this is somebody who's a racing fan. So, and then when I got into F1, I couldn't watch anything because they just refused to upload anything to YouTube. So now that we have this big push, it's big in America. We have Drive to Survive. So as long as this race puts on a good show, and people are going to come. So, and I can see him having multiple Grand Prix Grands Prix for a number of years.
yeah, and the whole, why does America get 3? Why does the United States get 3? Big,
because America is the size of Europe, so
America
pretty
big.
much. Yeah.
How many does Europe have? There's one in England, right? There's 2 in Italy.
UK, Italy, Spain, France, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands now. We used to have. Oh, you got Monaco as well. So 9 or 10, and we used to have more. So
yeah, shout out to the Europeans finally getting a taste of what we get here in America. People wanting us to export our
Germany.
good things. Oh.
Oh my God.
Don't forget about Germany now. They like to sneak up on people.
They only invented the motor car. So
only. Yeah, I agree. If the racing isn't good, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the number one thing, especially if you're in a new market. The first race has to be good. We've seen in motorsports how a bad race, Indy GP, Brickyard 2008 Brickyard 400, how they can absolutely kill an event.
Yep.
If
2005 US Grand Prix, perfect example. So
That's what I meant. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, so making sure that the first event is good, goes up, not necessarily goes off without a hitch, but you have good racing because something's going to happen this weekend. Something dumb, something someone overlooked. It's only so many things you can see as a racetrack engineer, builder, as someone that works in media, social media, as someone that works, in hospitality. There's only so many things you can predict, and odds
Yeah.
are one or two things that you don't are going to happen. Hopefully they're not too major. But prediction, if you had to pick, it's a completely new circuit. Obviously, I think that the easy picks are either you take Max or you take Leclerc, right? Like those are.
Yeah. I was tempted to say Sainz, but I think I'm gonna go with Perez.
Dang. Well, since it's
Why'd you-
IndyCar, I was gonna say him just because Red Bull did a really cool video
Yeah.
with him. It's Checo, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's his nickname,
Nickname.
Sergio Perez, but he goes
Yeah.
by Checo. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just, I'm learning, man. I'm learning. You should be proud of me. I'm trying. But yeah, it should be. I think it'll be good race. Track layout looks cool, and it sounds like we're both. If it's not one of the first two guys in the points, we're on the Sergio train. Choo choo. Yeah. Couple states north. NASCAR is going to be in Darlington all weekend.
It's trippy to think about that, like how not. I wouldn't say how close, but it's like you just cross a couple state boundaries, and then you're at Darlington, which is literally in a swamp.
I mean, literally, if you just go to the center of Florida, you're in the swamp. So
yeah, true.
But it's been now 1 year since that truck race. Trucks are there on Friday. The race where everyone was like, "Oh wait, the truck series is not good."
Shout out, I think it was Richard who made the edit, but it's the restart crash from the truck series race last year, but it's got a song from the Shags over it, so it's just like complete incompetent drums and guitars while all the trucks are just crashing.
Do you have any predictions for the trucks? I think there's a lot of drivers that feel like they need good races, but there's also I really want to see Carson Hocevar win, man.
Same. I'm gonna go with because I got the email while we were recording this that my diecast for them has shipped. Give me Tyler Ankrum.
Oh, the Circle B car or truck? Yeah.
I'm feeling stupid. Give me Tyler Ankrum.
Got a pretty good looking throwback on that 16 too.
Yeah.
So.
Shout out to them and the 43 team for running the same throwback.
I believe that's the 61 and the 43 for running the same.
Yeah.
Or I know there's two. I think there's two sets of Mike Skinner throwbacks.
Yeah, two separate teams both running the same Mike Skinner, Bill Davis throwback.
Oh yeah. Because there's that, and then there's the two teams running the DW17 truck throwback.
Wait, are they really?
Yeah, I think.
Oh my god, I haven't.
Tori
seen this.
has one of each, and then I think the 43 is one, and
I gotta see this.
Maybe
now.
the 11 is another. Because. Anyways, I'm gonna keep going while you look for that. Xfinity Series is this weekend going to also be in Darlington. Haven't seen a lot of throwbacks as of yet. I don't think we've, the 98 won't have a throwback. Haven't seen any of the colleague throwbacks. Not a lot of teams doing throwbacks this year. It was kind of like last year. I felt like there weren't a lot of teams doing them when this got moved to the spring.
I will say, the Trackhouse throwbacks are awesome.
Trackhouse throwbacks are pretty cool.
So good.
The one is the best. I think the one, if the 43 doesn't show up with something really cool, the one will win best in show.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the 43 is always the one that wins. It's hard to go against a Richard Petty throwback. Although the Bubba Cash App one I didn't like.
I have not seen that one yet.
You don't remember that one? It's like a throwback to Petty, like, jumped in the 6 car because he DNQ'd at Dover one year.
Oh, that one. Yeah, when
Yeah.
he took over DK Ulrich's car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
But a lot of good Cup Series throwbacks too. The 21 comes to mind.
Yeah, those ones are usually pretty good.
Kurt Busch's McDonald's throwback's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other ones.
Stuart Friesen's is really cool too.
Yeah. I like how they redid the logos on his too to match. That's always cool. But I think the Trackhouse, the one car probably wins because it is like dead on perfect.
Clement's throwback is really good too. It's a Dale Earnhardt Bud Moore throwback.
Mm-hmm. I think Allgaier's running one too.
I think so. I can't remember what it is though.
He's running a Hellman's, like looking like one of those Earnhardt Goodyear, but not Goodyear.
Oh yeah,
Wrangler.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. So yeah, a lot of Larson's got a pretty cool throwback.
Have they shown Chase's throwback yet?
I don't think so.
I know Byron's doing the Gordon, like 2007 DuPont Flames.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just searched NASCAR paint schemes throwback on Twitter, and the whole thing is just full of people voting for throwback paint schemes.
Just go to Darlington. Darlington's website has them all for their poll. They're like best in show poll. I think the Penske's aren't like Austin Cindrix is weird. It's like a Rusty Wallace, but the colors obviously don't match.
Yeah, yes, I did see that one.
The colors can help you sometimes if you change them, but more times than not, they hurt you.
Yeah.
But Xfinity predictions, I'm going to take Tyler Reddick because the 48 team, Tyler Reddick needs a win. 48 team feels like they need something good. So we'll go Tyler Reddick.
I'm gonna go with give me Allgaier.
I was gonna say you should just take him, man.
I forgot Carson Hocevar's running a Travis Pastrana throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Boost Mobile, baby.
That is so awesome.
And then if you had to pick someone for Cup, this feels like Tyler Reddick's weekend, right? Darlington, old surface, run by the wall.
We've been saying that a lot this year, though.
It's gotta be this weekend, though. He's had 2 bad races, so all of a sudden the books are really fading him. By the way, not monetary advice, gambling advice, but Chase Briscoe was plus 4,800.
Yes.
You need to get your stuff out of the dryer.
We're about to finish recording, and I'll do that.
Oh, no way.
Sorry, that was my roommate.
I'm leaving that in too. Get your clothes out of the dryer, you meanie.
He was just like clawing at my door.
But
it'd be less awkward if you just opened it.
I'm just gonna take Tyler Reddick. But Chase Briscoe is like, you got to look at these odds early in the week, man, because Briscoe is like plus 4,800, and that makes no sense because he's a lot better than plus 4,800. That's like Eric Jones and Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski territory, and those guys don't show the same speed. Anyways, go ahead. I'm gonna take Tyler.
These
Reddick.
are numbers. I'm gonna take somebody who's never won here. He's been very close to winning here a lot of the times. Total underdog. It's Kyle Larson. It's got to be the year. He's finally going to do it this year.
I mentioned it earlier. Eric Jones has been really good here.
Yeah.
Outside of last year, you feel like the equipment's there. 43, probably top 10 run if they do everything right. Chase Elliott has been good here the last couple of years, too. It's another good shout. Martin Truex obviously won this race last year. So kind of looking at those guys. Denny Hamlin likes Darlington. He needs something good to happen. I know he has a win, but God, outside of that race, it feels like his world is just burning down around him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those who he said, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, those dirt guys, Chase Briscoe, throw him in there. Jones.
Chastain will probably be good again.
Chastain was good here in the fall.
Yeah.
Finished third, challenging for Denny Hamlin for the win. And then, pit stops and stuff. But anyways, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Fake Racers Podcast because we're closing in on an hour. Matthew, where can they find more from you? You
can find me on Twitter at Davey Hazard, at mstealing51. I've been posting slightly more on Instagram at the _unofficial _bay with an E at the end. And also my YouTube channel, Dale Jr. 88 Rocks with an X at the end. So...
And remember, folks, you can, make sure you subscribe over here on JTN2 if you're watching us. Follow us on your podcast platform of preference, your Triple P. You're following us on Twitter at Johto Network, Facebook Johto Network, TikTok at Johto Network, posting some bangers over there, digging up some old emotions.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for that one, by the way.
You're welcome. I knew you'd
appreciate it. You know what's the worst part about that clip is I can literally pinpoint exactly where I was and how I felt when I listened to that on the radio and I was at the BMX track and I was like, oh my God, Junior's going to win a race. Nope.
But got some gems that are going to go up there on the TikTok too. So make sure you're subscribed and following us on all of our different things. We got them all linked down in the video description below. So you keep up to date with it. With all that being said, though, folks, we cannot thank you enough for listening to this week's episode of the Fake Racers Podcast. Leave us a review, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully at full strength.
Goodbye.